Television Nigerian, reaching you live from our Hilltop studios in Guzape, Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. Welcome to Press Talk, a platform where we review some topical issues in the tabloids, in Nigerian tabloids, as we have it printed across the nations, and also look at some topical issues that dominate discourse across several fora. Welcome again. I am Charles Ibe, and with me today is Daniel Atai.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Welcome to Press Talk.
Thank you, Mr. Charles.
Yeah, before we go and look at the dailies, today is the Armed Forces Remembrance Day.
Yeah.
A day that every 15th of January, Nigeria remembers the contributions of the gallant men of the armed forces, especially marking the end of the 30 months civil war that ended on the 15th of January 1970. I mean, the war started, I think, sometime in June 1968.
67.
Yeah, okay, 67, and then ended on the 15th day of January, when it was declared no victor, no vanquished. Yes, and also we know that during that war, there were so many casualties on both sides.
Yeah.
Both the Nigerian side and then the Biafran sides. Lost armies, lost men, lost women, and then even the civilians too. So many souls were lost in that very, very unfortunate, and some people say avoidable war.
It was an avoidable war.
Yes.
It was not perhaps an idealistic war per se, but based on emancipation. I think General Joku then, was he a colonel at that time or major, felt there was a segregation between the northerners, the northern military regiment or oligarchs, and that of the southeastern region. And it was actually, like you rightly put it, a war that should have been avoided. For no reason, that war was fought. Exactly. I think if you judge between that time and now, we have seen the issue of these tribal and religious sentiments and segregations more than what caused that war at that time. And we bought. We are still together. We are still progressing. And we are still managing our diversities. So I think what is important now is to remember the families of remember the fallen heroes and take care of the families of those who died while defending this nation.
The nation. Yeah, their contributions are so many, so much. If you start looking at the contribution of the military in Nigeria, especially when it comes to internal security, even in recent times, even in the cost of trying to maintain security, Nigerian military have lost gallant men and women who laid down their lives in doing that, ensuring that Nigeria remains one peaceful entity. Where everybody, irrespective of your tribe, irrespective of your religion or status, feels at home, making Nigeria one home. Now, looking at the contributions of the military so far that we are actually marking today, so what would you have to say about the Nigerian military?
Well, you see, let me hit one point on the Biafra issue before I come to answer your question. Over time, successive administrations, they looked at the Biafran veterans as people who actually fought to divide the country. They looked at them as non-Nigerians. They never gave them their benefits, even though they served in the Nigerian army before the dichotomy division began. But they fought for a reason. They fought for an agitation.
For a cause.
That they believed, though a lot of them were myopically deceived. But having served in the Nigerian army and as well fought for what they believe for their own emancipation of the region, and having established peace, no victory, no vanquish, as it was said. Originally or ordinarily, the Nigerian successive administration were supposed to incorporate them, gave them their benefit as Nigerian armies. If you say there was no loser, no winner, exactly, and we are one, but none of these administrations did it except this current administration. So that is one area when people are talking about nepotistic tendencies of the current administration, they forget facts and figures. Obasanjo came, he fought in that war. He never did that. He made peace with Gowon. Even Gowon that led that was the commander-in-chief at that time, never did that for the veterans, the Biafran veterans. The Goodluck Jonathan, who is from the southeast, south-south, he came on board. He never gave the veterans any benefit, the Biafran veterans. Yaradua came, he never did that. So Buhari, who even recognized the veterans and said, let's harmonize this country, let's build unity, he paid the outstanding allowances of all the Biafran veterans, those who fought in that war.
And that is those who are still alive.
Those who are alive. And even those, there is a way the military does their things, compensate the families of those who lost their lives. And those who are alive, give them their benefit. Recognize them as Nigerian armies. Recognize them as veterans of the Nigerian military armed forces. The question we should be asking those who are fueling crisis, who are trying to create division, that this present administration is not recognizing whatever, is that why didn't those they adjudge that they were not nepotistic?
Why didn't they go
we didn't carry out to that line? Why didn't they pay the veterans their allowances? Why didn't they recognize the Biafran warlords as Nigerian part of Nigerian army? You see, these are the indices when journalists or analysts, true analysts, want to juxtapose point. These are the areas you put on the table to discuss.
All right. Now,
they come into the issue of your question, the service and the strength of the Nigerian army and the heroic services they've done for this country, preserving the integrity and the sovereignty of the nation. Well, they have tried within their strength and the logistics at hand that they have. Before now, we know what the terrorists had wanted to do in this country, even here in the FCT, Abuja. But thank God, the proactiveness of the military, the armed forces, when I'm talking about the armed forces now, I'm talking about both the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, and so on.
The paramilitary.
The paramilitary. They did their best. Mr. Charles, I, as Danatai, for no reason, I say that I will want to receive maybe the sum of 100,000 naira monthly to carry arm to go and serve to defend or maybe fight terrorists or bandits. I will not do that. To give me 100,000 a month, even 150,000, I won't do that because I know the consequences.
So maybe if you are much younger, you would have been boiling to do that.
Even if I was much younger, I will check first my value.
There will have so many young people today eager and gingering to enter.
That is what I'm saying. When you are eager to entering the army, you should know that in the Nigerian armed forces, you are no longer your own.
Yes.
You are the property of the federal government. and you swear an oath
of allegiance to the
to preserve the sovereignty of the nation, then the nation that you are preserving their sovereignty should also reciprocate in your welfare. Like I used to say, I say loyalty is a consequence of responsibility. This time, positive consequence. If you want me to be loyal to you, how responsible are you to me? How far have you taken care of my burdens, my pains? Just like people in politics want loyalty, but they have not commiserate or reciprocate that measure of loyalty they want from you. The families of these military men, the barracks that they stay, the houses they live, the cars that they drive, the forest that they enter, and who is to, in fact, to me, we have not really taken care of the armed forces.
So in a way,
perhaps if the military high cadre, perhaps the FG might have been allocating fund, but we also know the fund that the FG is allocating. To me, as a journalist and as an analyst, it is not enough to defend the nation. It is not enough to go to war. And what about the air service personnel, those ones that have served the country and retired? They were resourceful during their time, and they could still be resourceful. Many a times we talk about going to hire machineries to helping the military to fight bandits, terrorists, and so on. I felt bad because you cannot invest in the personalities that were in the armed forces, the air personnel that have resigned or retired, and then you jettison that investment. To me, they are still, it is still their investment to the country.
Yeah, but they have, we have a, as they are retiring, there are still a lot of resources that are still currently in service. So maybe they are dwelling on what they have currently.
Experience, because of what we have, because of what we are seeing, because of what we are seeing. Remember, the war against terror, though, has lingered beyond our expectation.
Okay, now, sorry, let me ask this question. Does it mean that when there is no transfer of knowledge or there is no transfer of expertise,
that is what I'm saying,
that will require that somebody that has been retired should go and call back again to come and bring what he has? That means they take their knowledge with them. Is there no way of transferring
that
to
is
the
the
younger
system
ones?
Perhaps that I'm seeing in the country. But if you say Armed Forces Remembrance Day, you have to also not only remember those who died, not only remember those who are living, you should also remember the investment that you have invested in those who retired, which could still be resourceful to the present quagmire, if it is a quagmire.
Yeah, we are speaking on, we are on the outside looking in. But I think, I don't really know if there is a problem with remunerations, pensions of ex-military men.
My father was one of the ex-servicemen, though he died 2015. I know what I am saying. Okay. I grew up in the barracks in Sokoto State and in Suka and in Lagos. So I could tell how the service was then and how it is now.
So there's not much changes?
The changes is that at that time, the welfare, you will be happy to be a military man. You will be, I dreamt that I want to be in the Nigerian army. When I finished my secondary school, when they brought the NDA form to me, I looked at my family. I discovered that we have generals, major, colonel, many of them. I said, no, let me choose another field of discipline. If not, by now I would have been in the army serving.
Maybe you would have been a major.
No, by now I should be a major general or general in the army. Because I'm talking about since 2003. You understand? So, if I want to compare that time while I was growing in the 80s and looking at when my father was in the Nigerian army, I would prefer to be in the army. Because every month, logistics, even if he is not at home, they deliver those things to us at home. Even if he goes for peacekeeping, we get his allowances, we get turkey, we get bags of rice, bag of beans, things like that, and even money attached to it. So we were well taken care of. I'm talking about the era of, Obasanjo and the era of Shagari. Then metamorphosed to the era of IBB. And then suddenly from that 85, he introduced the structural adjustment program, which brought the catastrophe. Instead of thinking we were saving, our parents thought they were saving, and their savings were never given to them. After serving the country, you retired, and then even the current president experienced it, because he is an air service personnel, and I believe that he queued many times to get his pension, to receive his pension. It is not done in civilized nation, and should not be done. It is not encouraging, because these men have resources in their brain within them that they can still contribute to the nation, to defending the sovereignty and the integrity of this country.
Thank you so much. It is still Press Talk, and we are just taking a look at what Nigeria is celebrating today, the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Remember the soldier, remember that military man, remember that serviceman that you know, that is currently in service, that has served before, that might be diseased, the families, what they are going through. And he is also using this opportunity to advocate for a better condition of service for the current military men and their families, and also the retired ones, and also maybe a systemic, evolve a system where there will be so much transfer of knowledge, transfer of expertise, while these people are still active and serving.
Yes.
So that when they retire, they have retired. We might not have the need to go and bring them out of their retirement period to come to...
Yes, you can bring them out for training. Okay, why do the people we bring from maybe US, UK...
Those ones are still current people that are still active.
No, not all of them are current. Sometimes the people that comes to train them are veterans, experienced veterans. They may not have the physical agility, but they have the mental agility, because you have studied these things. For instance, if you are a pilot or you are a naval officer that have to sail, could you say your knowledge will be compared to what they had then?
No. Anyway, but I also know that Nigeria has one of the best, is it Defense Academy? The Nigerian War College is adjudged to be one of the best in the world. And when you go there, the trainings are also given by some of these retired military men who also put in their services there, training the upcoming.
I think they are doing that.
Because even other countries of the world come to our college.
We must really remember these guys, especially the fallen heroes. It pains my heart. And one thing I want to really praise, I want to thank the current administration, is that the military have started some kind of innovations. Since 1985 to now, to let me say 2012, we've not had any innovation in the army. Don't forget that the armed forces is an institution.
Yes.
Of its
Complete
own.
in
Just the
everything.
way we are democratic, they have the system, they have their own judiciary, they have their own everything, they have their own legislators, they have their own media, they have their own, they are complete institutions. So they are supposed to be very independent and even to facilitate innovations. Of recent, we have is it University of Bill, and then we have the Armed Forces engineering, motor, whatever, that they are even producing vehicles.
A lot of technological
Now,
innovations.
we started seeing this thing now, a kind of revamping the innovative ideas of the Nigerian Armed Forces. That is what we are seeing now. Before now, you see the compromise, the corruption, the politicking. You don't join politics with security architecture. Right. But that is what we were saying. And if the present administration want to clearly separate itself from politics of harmonizing the armed forces into playing politics, into compromising, they should completely give them their independence and let them work as people who wants to defend the country, the sovereignty and the integrity of the nation.
All right. Thank you so very much. Nigeria still remains one of the countries that can boast of having one of the best military, best defense mechanisms in Nigeria. And today we are...
And I'm proud of them.
Yes, and we are proud of the Nigerian Army. And they need our support as well, because even though they are an institution, they cannot function well without the people. They need the cooperation by intelligence gathering, giving them the information when they need. And also whenever they are around, any kind of cooperation will be very, very useful to make their work better. Let's take a quick break now. And when we come back, we'll now go straight to the newspapers to see what the front pages of Nigerian dailies are talking about today. Join us again.
This is Television Nigerian, a broadcast network committed to serving you the very best in online and offline television programming. Situated in the serene environment of Guzape, Abuja FCT, TVN, as it is fondly called, caters to a wide variety of audience via carefully orchestrated mind-blowing programs in the areas of fashion, business, politics, entertainment, religion, movies, food and health, culture and lifestyle, events around the globe, sports and foreign news. Whatever your inclination, we've got you completely covered with programs like Issues of the Moment, The Patriot, Daybreak Nigeria, Matter Africa, TVN Business Time, Healthy Living, From the Cradle, Stay Inspired, Entertainment Gist, Movie Hour, Hits Paradise, among others. All designed to keep you thoroughly informed, entertained, at the edge of your seats and yearning for more. A tour around our domain will reveal a highly dedicated staff force and a state-of-the-art facility and equipment for high-definition quality broadcast, making our station your #1 choice in advertising your business and propagating your ideas. We are currently on NigComSat doing our test transmission for takeoff in the nearest future. Television Nigerian is located in Nigeria at Television Nigerian House, Guzape Hilltop Mansion, beside Guzape White House, Guzape Abuja FCT, and in the United Kingdom at 45 Ancient House, 48 Aerodrome Road, Beaufort Park, Colindale, London. For inquiries,
welcome back. This is Television Nigerian, and we are on the program Press Talk. Right now, we are going to the front pages of the Nigerian dailies to find out what is dominating the newspapers this morning, and we are starting with the Daily Sun, rising bright and early, with the major headline: Kuka opens up again. With the rider, Nigeria hasn't recovered from wounds of the civil war after 51 years. You can get the details of what Father Kuka is talking about on page 6 of the Daily Sun. And besides the masthead here, you have a story there: Umahi will contest presidency in 2023. And who is talking about that? That is Ebony, APC. Go to page 27 of the Daily Sun for that little bit of politics there. And then below the picture story, we'll have Nigeria. You have Nigeria safer today than 2015. Who is saying that? No other person than our own President Muhammadu Buhari. And it has the story has some riders there: MBF, ACF, ADF, security experts, others clash over claims. That means so many people are agreeing, so many people are disagreeing. What are the basis of this agreement and disagreements? Please go to page 6 of the Daily Sun so that you can read to be able to talk about it. And then besides the picture story there, you have January 18 school resumption date stands, says the FG. With a rider, we are ready, private school owners, talking about being ready to reopen schools. You can get the details about the school resumption on page 27 of the Daily Sun. And of course, the Daily Sun has so much printing inside and the back cover, back pages and all of that. So do grab a copy of the Daily Sun today to read details of all the stories. So, Kuka again.
Kuka again. Well, Kuka could be right that Nigeria hasn't recovered from the wound of the civil war after 51 years. But he should not blame it on Buhari.
No, I don't think he's. Well, they've not really,
Kuka these days have been in the news for against the current administration. While he may have his right of expression, his human right of expression, I would rather want us to put side by side, just like I said earlier, evidence of what nepotistic tendencies, or evidence of what regional segregation.
No, but
like he said, the Biafra, after civil war, Nigeria has not united in the area, recovered, because where he might be coming from now is that looking at the southeastern region, that they haven't, of course, been able to produce the #1 seat of this country.
But that's not even the major problem of the recovery. It's not about presidency. I think it goes beyond
to the average southeasterner, because of their level of population or agitation over time, they would feel maligned that it is because of the Biafra agitation that they were segregated or relegated to the backdrop that they could not produce the president of this country based on rotation.
Now, can I hold you on this now? Actually, if you look at saying recover from civil war and all of that, can we just take back, aside from the everything is not presidency, are the southeasterners worse off than the northerners in terms of everyday living in terms of what, I mean, in terms of the general well-being?
The eastern region is better in terms of well-being than the northerners.
So if you're talking about the recovery, who should even be more concerned about?
Exactly. That is why this thing is a kind of rhetorical.
Well, Kuka is from the north too.
Kuka might be from the north, but Kuka is talking about civil war that we fought 51 years ago. And all of us know the indices surrounding the civil war, the aftermath of the civil war. One of the aftermath is that the Igbos have not produced the president of this country.
They lost so much apart from the presidency.
Apart from the presidency, they lost so much and nobody cared. Even their veterans, nobody cared for them. Successive administration, even the Jonathan, the Yaradua, the Obasanjo, and the likes of them that passed, nobody recognized the veterans, nobody recognized the Igbos.
And you know that after that war, after
the war, what do they call it? This one that they have in Project Development Agency now, in Enugu State there, where you have products of war, things, what do you call it, spoils of war, gathered in a place.
Yeah,
who was in charge of that? You understand? And how did they utilize those spoils of war after the war? Does it benefit the Easterners, or it benefit other regions of the country? And after the war, if you said we have come together, no winner, no vanquished, like Gowon declared, what are the successive administrations supposed to do in terms of harmonious relationship, synergistic relationship in terms of one Nigeria?
Perhaps maybe that might be what Kuka is talking about.
Kuka is saying it late. Has Kuka not been around?
But he has been saying.
No. He has never made emphasis on this emphatically like he said, because during this period, he has been saying the Buhari administration, the federal character is this, the federal character is that. Why the presidency might have their fault. As an analyst and a prudent one, I would want to place facts and figures juxtaposing the differences.
No, are there facts in what Kuka is saying? Presently, are we feeling?
Yes. The fact is that, one, the southeastern region, they have not produced the president of this country.
And it's not even, that one is not Buhari's making. No.
It's not Buhari's making. That is number one. Then, if you look at, even they themselves use their hands to kill themselves. Because the political party because political party, you cannot leave it out of democracy. It's one of the democratic institutions. They like to cling to their own political party. They form their own within the party that has no cosmopolitical power in terms of demography.
Is it only particular to the southeast?
It is much, much particular to the southeast because they started it. If you look at what the southwest are doing, they like to get across their political party to the northern region, where we have about 19 states in the northern region. Because your political party, if you want to produce the president of the country, must have two-third majority, two-third presence in all the 36 states.
But we have never had any of these regional parties produce a president, have we?
Well,
apart from the ones that are, you can talk.
That is the factor. Central. That is why I say they use their hands to kill themselves too. Because if you cling to a regional party that could not pass the test of two-third majority across the 36 states, how are you going to produce the... Now, you know that, and now we have Ebonyi state governor coming up because he defected to the APC,
which is people perceived to be
a northern political party, but not only a northern political party, the party on power and the party that have the demographical power, the cosmopolitical energy encompassing in the 36 states of the country.
If you are talking about that, you should be talking about the PDP. Because if you remember the people, the formation, sorry, let me make this point. The formation of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, is one of the, I would say, is one of the best when you look at in Nigerian politics. You have the likes of Alex Ekweme, you have the likes of all those across the regions.
And the PDP,
it was one of the most centralized party. And they spread across all the geographies.
Yet, despite being the founder, one of the founders is Alex Ikweme, late blessed Alex Ikweme.
I think they were the G34.
Was he considered by the People's Democratic Party?
He contested on base of the on a Nigerian platform, and
because
people decided
he is a man, a pious man, a genuine Democrat who believed that those who are genuine in the cause of governance should take power, position of authority in democracy in order to extend the same governance to the people. But he was denied.
He wasn't denied. The Nigerian people didn't vote for him.
When I mean he was denied is that before Nigerian people will vote for you, your party must consider you prudent, capable, eligible, competent to have given you that party ticket. Why didn't the PDP give him the ticket, being one of the pioneers of the PDP? So you see, a party factor. If a party becomes myopic with their own blueprint and manifesto, the people suffer. So that has been the case of the Southeastern people.
He was denied, and the ticket was given to Obasanjo. Who went to the prison to bring out Obasanjo? Was it not the Northerners?
It was the Northerners.
So now what were we talking about?
The bureaucracy there is this. The bureaucracy there is this. When Ikweme was there as preaching the PDP to the Southeastern people, they embraced it, but they formed another political party, another regional party, which they tend to cling much to.
That was when the whole thing...
Even now, look at the way they were challenging Umahi of Ebonyi State that, you are going to APC. Knowing so well that APC is a larger platform and this man could exercise his right, perhaps he could be considered on the sentiment that the Southeastern people should produce the next president.
Okay, now, let's just talk
They are still against their own.
Let's talk about
the people. The Bible even said, and even the Quran, that any nation that fights against itself cannot stand.
Super. Now that means Kuka might be right in what he's saying, that we have not recovered from.
I said Kuka is right,
because
but Kuka is also wrong.
No,
I will tell you where Kuka is right, and I will tell you where Kuka is wrong.
Well, I'm not going about
psychologically and emotionally, sentimentally. Kuka could be right. But where Kuka is wrong is that
about his message of Christmas. This is a current thing.
Yesterday
about recovering from civil war. Now we are talking about regions. The civil war was fought along regional lines, and after that, no victor, no vanquished. Nigeria is supposed to have been healed enough that we don't care where you come from. Are you a north? Are you a south? Are you a north central? But now we are even more divided than we are before the civil war. You have northern regional, you have north central. Everybody is going regional.
Can I tell you why? Can I tell you why?
Okay.
It is not the system that made it so.
So what made it so?
It is the players who are disloyal to the constitution of the federal government. The constitution, if you look at it, for instance, the federal character that has been in play before now, who brought the sentiment of segregation, of nepotism in our recent democracy, especially in this fourth democratic dispensation from 1999? Who brought it? Who brought that sentiment? The man they went to prison to bring. If you look at the arrays of his cabinet and ministries, departments, and agencies, one good thing is that facts are there. Hold on now. Facts are there and they can be googled. You understand? Not to talk just myopically on sentiment, but talking on facts and figures. Let's Google the cabinet of Obasanjo. Let's Google those that form the departments and the agencies of President Obasanjo, and why Yaradua came and tried to deviate a little from what Obasanjo planted, even though the Northerners believe that Obasanjo played a synergistic role with the Northerners. But let me tell you, and I want to be very sorry, that the elder statesman still have a lot to correct in order for Nigeria to foster in the unity as it is written in our anthem and our oath. Are you getting me? Because if the players themselves become disloyal to the constitution that formed this entity called Nigeria, then what are you expecting from the common masses? And that is why you see the media, people in the southwest are clamoring, oh, they are crying foul. People in the middle belt are crying foul. People in the north central, northeast, northwest are crying foul, and the south.
So the bottom line is Nigeria is more divided than we should be. More
yes,
divided.
And what will solve this problem is our individual characters and support to the constitution and the sovereignty of this nation. Once we begin the change from ourselves first, see Nigeria as what? A vision. A vision. And a vision must go along with mission. And the mission will define the character to which the vision must be attained.
All right, we have to be loyal to our constitution.
Yes.
The people that are
don't vote charlatans to power on sentiment.
But that is what of the.
We must have to change that character.
Pray that as we walk towards 2023, that some of these things will be corrected and we will have a truly, a truly united country that we can call
one Nigeria,
irrespective of north, south, east, or wherever you are. You can be able to attain any position you desire. Let's move over to the Punch newspaper to find out what they have on the front pages of the Punch newspaper today. The bold headline there says, Northern elders, Kuka, Obi, others warn of another civil war. Go to page 2 to find out what they are talking about. Northern elders, Kuka, Obi, others warn of another civil war. Also meaning that all is not well, or all might not be well with Nigeria.
That is, if we divide ourselves along the lines of religion.
Let's go to page 2 of the Punch newspapers to get the details. And on the bottom strip of the Punch newspaper, you have Lagos eyes bonds orders to fund 192.49 billion naira deficit. That's huge.
100 and what?
192.49 billion naira deficit.
From the NSAS, are we?
No, I don't know.
What
we have to get
deficit
to
is
page
this?
19 to get the details of what they are talking about by the Punch newspaper. And also, Army detains civilian for 7 months. Army detains civilian for 7 months over old Facebook video. What was in the video and why was it detained? Find out on page 4, and the story continues on page 5. Amoteku dismisses cop for killing Okada rider, delivers him for prosecution. That's one of their own killed an Okada rider, and now he's up for prosecution. Get the details on page 9 of the Punch newspaper.
This is the problem we were discussing yesterday on Press Talk. On Spectacle, I mean.
Okay, above the masthead of the Punch newspaper there you have FG bans overcrowding, assemblies, orders as schools resume Monday. That means the federal government is sticking to the January 18th resumption, and they are giving guidelines for the resumption. No overcrowding, no assemblies as schools resume on Monday. Get other details on page 7. I think all parents and guardians should also be interested in getting to hear details of this. Khan defends Kuka, demands arrest of people threatening the bishop. Now, Khan rising to the defense of Kuka. What is Khan basing their defense on? Please go to page 8 of the Punch newspaper to get details of this story and a whole lot more printed in the Punch newspaper. And let's quickly go over to The Nation. The Nation newspaper is next, and The Nation has on the bold headline, how 27 states forced federal government to reopen schools. The Nation newspaper is the next paper we'll have on queue because we are running out of time. The Nation newspaper, how 27 states forced federal government to reopen schools. And it has the rider, COVID-19 protocols to be enforced on teachers, pupils from Monday. COVID-19 protocols to be enforced on teachers and pupils from Monday. All the protocols, what is it all about? Get to page 4 to get the details of this story. And also doctors are saying loud and clear, reopening schools now dangerous. The doctors are not agreeing, but the government says we are going ahead with the opening. So go to page 4, get all the details of the protocols. If you are a teacher, if you are a pupil, if you are parents and guardians, please go to the Punch newspaper today and look for page 4 to get the details. On the bottom strip of the Nation newspaper, we'll have directly below the picture story there, Southwest lawmakers back return of power to zones. Also on page 4 of the Nation's newspaper, Kwara APC elders, okay chair. Kwara APC elders, okay's chair. What are they talking about? Page 31 has the details. Now let's look at the COVID-19 and the resumption of schools. The government is saying 18th is sacrosanct, our schools are going to resume. And also in one of the papers we've reviewed says they are ready, especially the private schools. They're saying they are ready to reopen. But the doctors are not agreeing. And also, I don't know the stance of our public schools. Are they ready for this resumption? They're talking about protocols, hand sanitizing, and some other things that are supposed to be put in place. Are they really, is it safe for Nigerian schools to reopen on Monday?
Of course, it's safe if you follow the simple rules of preventing COVID-19 from you being infected. It will be safe for you. Once you break the rules, then you are not safe. You know that we cannot afford any further lockdown.
Yes.
And of course, the government have come out clearly to clear the air that there won't be any lockdown. There has no message gone out from them, the authorities, that there will be lockdown. Let's follow the basic preventive measures rather than reactive measures. And I want to also address some people that are saying that it is a sickness of the rich. Is that it is not the sickness of the rich. Some of the poor people are also dying, but because you are not famous enough for the media to carry your debt, and that is why nobody is hearing about the poor.
Well, maybe you don't think the media should be more introspective when it comes to that reportage, because we just see figures from NCDC. We are not really particular about where these cases have occurred. Maybe if you tell me 10 people died in Ghana,
that is the bias aspect
15
of
died
what
in Kurudu,
the
and other
tax
people died in Lugbe, so that it will come closer to the people. So people will not, oh, we have this thing within our midst.
Yes.
Rather than just say at FCT 500 cases and whatever 500. So it's not really.
Are they even investing in media sensitization while international donors are bringing billions of dollars? We heard about is it China, which country brought 100 million pounds yesterday. Another country donated, for the effect of COVID-19, cushioning the effect of lockdown, cushioning of preventive medicine, vaccinations, and so on. They are donating here and there for the country. Even World Health are also supporting. But the task force, they have some questions to answer, whether they like it or not. The COVID-19 task force, the presidential task force, they have questions to answer. Question bordering transparency, question bordering accountability, how they are even using the fund, how they
what they've done,
what they have done, the isolation centers. It is not enough to build isolation centers to go and dump people there, giving them vitamin C, giving them whatever. What I could originally take in my home, you go and lock me somewhere to give me. No, I would disagree with you, because Nigeria, even Africa as a whole, we are endowed with herbs. We are endowed with natural organic things that could even prevent you from whatever sicknesses that we are anticipating. Because you cannot go and put me somewhere, put me there, lock me, and then be giving me vitamin C, giving me whatever. You understand?
Yeah,
so the fund that have been donated to nations.
I think that's where the media should be more proactive, to ask questions. There's freedom of information.
And that is why I'm asking a question now too. That this fund, are you not supposed to first of all take care of emergency primary health care across the whole world in the country? I'm not talking about across the 774 local government areas in the country. I'm talking about the world. At the world level, the funding is enough to establish standard primary and even secondary healthcare facilities. What are we talking about?
All right, so the government and their agencies should just up their game. But tell people more, let people know more what is happening.
Another factor that I discovered that why people are dying more in those regions, in those continents and first world countries, is the fact that their medicine have gone so high, the knowledge of common things that we use here, like the bitter cola, the garlic, the ginger, those things that we eat here.
They don't have it.
The raw vegetables that we are opportune to eat, they don't have it. Everything there is processed. And you even if headache is disturbing you now, here you can quickly run to the pharmacy and get Panadol and get something to take. There, who will give you? You need to call 911 first or call somebody before a doctor, if ambulance will come to attend to you, emergency before. You can't go to a pharmacy in US or any that you want to buy Panadol now.
But their own is better there because they have quick response.
They have quick response, but then the availability of the natural, natural things.
You're talking about nature response to all of this.
The nature response.
All right, we are running out of time. Let's quickly go through the remaining two newspapers we have. We have the next paper to review this morning, This Day newspaper. This Day newspaper has on the front headline, Governors move to take over COVID-19 vaccine. Governors move to take over COVID-19 vaccines distribution. They will be meeting on Wednesday. Governors move to take over COVID-19 vaccines distribution. All right, the writer says, experience of polio eradication will be useful. That's what governors are talking about. And they urge Buhari to persuade traditional rulers to back vaccination. Go to go to the This Day newspaper to find out, is the bold headline there. You get the details of that on This Day newspaper. And on top of the major headline there, and directly below the This Day masthead, you have Nigeria better than I met it, says Buhari, and it has the rider, your performance is below average. That's PDP and Afenifere replying.
Can I react to that?
No, we'll come back to that. Let's move over the next newspaper because of time. The next newspaper we'll have on queue is the Business Day newspaper, and the Business Day is talking about how relatives of COVID-19 patients risk infection to save loved ones. How? Please go to Business Day and find out so that we don't risk the risk of infection will reduce. And besides that, you have Nigeria's private universities rise to meet the demand for quality education. That is on the This Day newspaper, and that's the last paper we'll have to do for today. So quickly, we wanted to react to the story on the
yes, you see, party politics will not help this country. If you look at what is dividing America right now, is because of sentiment on party ground.
Party lines.
They have never done that in over 230 years. And that is why their democracy is adjudged to be one of the best in the world. But we, being a third world country, a developing nation, we borrowed quickly the norms, the practice of nations that are already standing with democracy, with the tenets of democracy.
And we are struggling.
And how do we want to run when we haven't crawled? These nations, they have passed through lying within democracy. They have passed through crawling before they get to walking, and now the stage of running with the speed of light in the practice of their own democracy. Here, it was sold to us, yes, that democracy is good, but you have to practice it with the rules and regulations. One, in forming party, the ideology and the blueprint that you brought to table is why people come together to make the party work, register it and say, this is our manifesto.
But does it work in Nigeria?
It has not been working. And when you try to make it stand, even people within your party will look at you as
You don't know what you're talking
you
about.
are not being loyal to the party. If we want governance, we should face governance, irrespective of the party that produces us as either president, governor, chairman, councillor, or whatever. You discharge governance to everybody. Majority of Nigerians do not belong to any political party, but they are card-carrying members of what? INEC electoral voters card. And that means they can decide electoral values and electoral victories. So why punishing them because they are not part of your party? And if somebody is discharging eloquently, vividly, his manifesto, his blueprint, as a party man, ordinarily, the opposition should praise that person, regardless of whether he's your member or not. But here you have that inclination and affiliation, and even the sentiment that, oh, he's performing, he's in PDP, he's in APC. Let's plot a way to bring him down so that the masses will see him as, to ridicule him.
And it's not helping the
And it
the
is
polity.
not helping the polity. And apart from not helping the polity, it disenfranchises us from the real essence of democracy, which is governance to the people. So PDP should eschew that language.
It's not only PDP, even
APC too,
UT as well.
and even ABGA or anybody. If you look at when this administration came on board, you know, I and you, we have the facts and figures. We have the facts and figures where one person from this country could be richer than the nation, and not just being richer politely or within the ambit of the law. Being richer because they amassed the people's wealth. To the extent that one woman in the person of Desiani will be as richer than the US president.
We don't have that one for sure.
No. There are things that we saw on ground that people, when they want to talk or criticize, I know Buhari failed in some areas, which I have the fact and I can present them here if I see the headlines.
Right.
But to say, yes, he performed below average. We knew when he came on board, 2015, exactly. We know what was happening.
Exactly.
So
the thing is,
at least let us at least try to praise little effort.
The fact,
even if not result, let's praise effort. See, people that are real, they consider both effort and result, not only results.
Facts and figures are there for people to see, and everybody has their own opinion. PDP has their own opinion, APC has their own opinion.
We should not be that so partisan.
Afenifere or any other group, they have their own opinion of how.
I'm talking about Afenifere and the South West, talking that power should come to them. Because we should be egalitarian enough in this country now. All
right, thank you very much. That's where we are going to hang it for today. It's been Press Talk, and we have spoken so much about so many issues as thrown up by the press this morning in the front pages of the newspapers. And like we always to say, a newspaper a day drives away ignorance. Please rush to the vendors, pick up any of these tabloids and read. Read so that you can be able to tell, so that you can be able to discuss and add constructively to the polity. That is the much we have today. Join us again on Monday when we return with fresh look at the front pages of newspaper, and of course talk about so many issues bordering the Nigerian polity. And don't forget that today is Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Do well in any way you can to support the Nigerian military, to serve and to protect the Nigeria's territorial integrity better for the future and for posterity. I have been Charles Ibe, and with me,
Daniel Atai.
Thank you very much, and have a lovely day and also enjoy the rest of your weekend.